Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM20 story with Dorking Wanderers with me, Daniel. It's season 9, episode 4, and today, as you can see, we are absolutely flying. We're top of League 1, we're really starting to look a good side, got a nice 6 points cushion to the playoffs as well, and today we face promotion rivals Ipswich at home, at our home ground in Crawley, I guess, at the moment, and with just 4 points separating the two sides, it could be a crucial top of the table clash. We also face the same opponents in a week's time, that time away in the FA Cup. That one not as important, but it will still be a big barometer of our success, so we need to try and get a good result in this first one. Our board review is absolutely fantastic, everything's going really well. We'll also obviously reflect on our recent games off the pitch, our form, how we've been getting on, why we're doing so well this season, and we've got a bit of off the pitch news which is exciting at last. We've been waiting a little while to get news like it. You can see the finances are starting to dip a little, so that might give you a clue as to where I'm leading there. But before we go and get into all of that, a massive thank you to everyone who continues to follow the series and support the channel in general. If you are looking forward to this video and enjoying our good start to the season, please do put a thumbs up on it. I'm really excited to be up near the top of the league, and after a few years of stability, just getting used to being a League One side, I really feel like we can push on this year. And also, of course, we've got our head coach series back tomorrow, and we did have our first collaboration on the channel at the weekend, and that sort of thing will continue from Fantasy Draft, so there'll be plenty more of them to come in the future too. So if you'd like to see some more of that, please subscribe for daily FM20 content from both long-term stories and the Fantasy Draft. Also head over to our podcast channel. We've got the second leg of our Fantasy Draft tie there, as well as match day vlogs and other football content. So we're trying to keep you entertained throughout this period without football. So hopefully you'll enjoy some of the content we've got to offer. But into this episode with Dorking Wanderers, and we start with a little bit of transfer news. And the reason for that is not anything that's really happening coming into the club. There's a couple of youngsters that have gone out on loan. That's because we've got our first affiliated club of the series. It's Ipswich Town, who are in the Isthmian Premier, a side that have been up in the regional leagues. I think they might have had 1 year up in the National League a few years back, although it doesn't look the case from here actually. But in the National League South they were for a little while. They're now down in the Isthmian Premier struggling, but hopefully with our additions and our support off the pitch, they'll be able to get back up to the National League South, and at that point they'll be a really useful affiliate club for us, particularly for some of those youngsters coming through the academy. Just try and take them onto National League standard and at least produce some players who are semi-pro footballers. But the other reason we're here, and perhaps the most important one, is we noticed this little clause. We had one last episode, not quite as big a player this time, but a 50% sell-on clause for Aaron Toshak is now available to buy. So let's go and see how much that's worth. 159,000. Now we've got to put something into perspective here. That's for 50%. So do we think he's going to be sold for more than 300 grand? In my opinion, he'll probably end up getting released. He's not doing anything at Forest. He's not been loaned out. That's a little bit bizarre across the board actually, but I'm going to accept that deal because I think that's a good one. So 159,000 on top of the 500 grand they already paid for us. Again, for someone who we got on a free, loaned out to the National League South for a year and then sold, that is £650,000. It's an incredible amount of money and really is helping the club off the pitch, and it's going to make a massive difference moving forward. And let me show you why. If we go ahead to our club vision screen, you can see we're working on training facilities and youth facilities. Both have been agreed around 200,000 each, just to take them up to adequate from poor. So good start for us to get to that standard, and both of those getting worked on for the rest of this season. They're being planned and then they'll be built over the summer, and we should have new facilities next year in September. What it does mean is we need to keep that finances up until the end of the year, because if it dips back down they'll just cancel it at the last minute. So we need to keep that in the 3 millions, possibly in the 2s will be alright, but I think anything below 2 million we're probably in danger. So as a result we won't spend that transfer budget, not unless it looks like we're almost certain for promotion, and otherwise championship money will help us out there, but for now we're going to protect it very much. But of course that's not the main reason we're back. We do like all the off the pitch bits. The main bit we get to manage in this series, which is different to the head coach. But with a season like this you've got to look at the results. We're yet to lose a game since the last episode. Had one really bizarre one. Defensively you can see we were all over the shop in it, but otherwise since that Pompey game, a brilliant performance last time out, a sea of victories and a few draws in between as well. So 3 away draws and then that one weird game at home. We've won everything else including the leasing.com trophy games. So our high to Oxford will run run through them quickly. Brendan Lindsay making an impact to rare start for him there. Then a 3-1 victory at home to Carlisle. McKinnon and Holcroft, 2 really early goals. Matt Everett sealing it with 10 to go. And then away to Stevenage, our backup side were brilliant. Connor Jackson again. I keep talking about this man. 2-star ability, but he keeps performing brilliantly. And in fact, he's gone up to 2.5 now. But a hat-trick for him in that game. A brilliant performance. Brendan Lindsay with 1 more again. Before a 2-1 win at home to Chesterfield. John Webb and Alan Tordoff cancelling out an early goal. Before a 0-0 draw at Accrington. That crazy 4-all game. And look at the timings on it. We equalised in the 94th minute. Brendan Lindsay saving the unbeaten run. Off the bench with 2 goals there. He's become a superstar as well in that one. Interestingly, John Webb didn't have a bad game up front. Still got an 8.6. But he just hadn't been scoring recently in those ones. So we got back to scoring form eventually. But Brendan Lindsay helped us out in the meantime. So let's go and look at the Crawley result. That is when John Webb got back on the score sheet. Tordoff again with a first half goal there. So he didn't play his best on camera last time, but he's been brilliant ever since. John Webb getting a goal against Bradford as well. And then at home in the FA Cup, Connor Jackson, that man again against Aldershot. Before a 2-all draw in the Leasing.com trophy. Javier Simons off the bench to get a goal. That hasn't happened for a while. Joe Wilson with his first of the season as well. A bullet header from the centre half after half time, cancelling out West Ham's early lead. And we won the group. We have got through. Where is our tie? Maybe it hasn't been drawn yet. I'm not quite sure. But either way, a 3-0 victory last time out against Doncaster. Wasn't a comfortable game. It looks it on paper, but you can see there 2 goals in the 91st and 92nd minute. Otherwise, it was a narrow 1-0 victory. Luke Thomas scoring a cracking goal from left back. As you can probably tell, my voice is disintegrating a bit, which is why we're keeping it to single games at the moment. So for those of you asking for double headers, there has been a couple recently. That's just the main reason at the moment. I'm trying to protect my voice so we can get out an episode every day, or as close to that as possible in the current circumstances. And as a result, we'll just have the league game against Ipswich today, but obviously we'll still focus on all those bits off the pitch. And part of that as well leads us to the training centre and our mentoring groups. Something we haven't looked at for a couple of years, but we've got some experienced leaders at the club now. Stefan Mole's developed into a resolute personality. Jonathan Mitchell and Luke Thomas, both fairly professional with influence, so they're looking after 4 of the younger new players. So Mason Saxon, Grant Parsons, Peter McLaughlin and Joe Wilson, they're all being looked after by those 3 experienced ones, and I'm really hoping they'll all be able to become professional and hopefully be the next generation of trainers. So they could be the leads in the mentoring group. With Jake Gallagher going, we had a void to be filled, and these lads are doing it absolutely brilliantly, so I'm really looking forward to how that progresses too. And then if we go and have a look at the squad dynamics as well, everything looking good in that regard. And in terms of the social groups, you can see they're just starting to blend into that core group. So we've got Joe Wilson in there now, Grant Parsons too, a couple of the summer signings just creeping in. John Webb's still waiting to settle in as well, but a couple of the others have found some friends in the team as well. So overall, I'm really pleased with how that's going, and hopefully in January we can just freshen it up with 1 or maybe 2 signings, try and get them a little bit closer knit together, maybe get 1 or 2 in who can improve the group. So of course, with all of our off the pitch review completed, we will go and head into today's game. If I've missed anything you wanted to see, just let me know and I will have a look at it in the next episode. We've got our youth intake preview coming next month. Can't imagine it'll be good just yet, but hopefully those first stepping facilities will allow us to step up, because we'll then be able to improve the coaching and we'll be able to improve the youth recruitment as well. So I'm hoping those 2 steps will come next year. We'll just gradually get to increase everything at the club. But in we go to the game, a big one at the top of League One, first v 4th. We seem to be liking these big games at the moment. A good head-to-head record we've got, and we're heavy favourites surprisingly. Almost a sellout as we head over to Crawley, and a very settled 11 that we've got going now. It's pretty much our first choice every single game, and our bench almost picks itself too. So I've just gone and had a little individual chat with Tordoff because his morale's going down a bit. It seems to be related to their status at their parent club. It's something I've noticed quite a bit this year, a little bit in FM19 as well. At their parent club, if they're transfer listed, maybe their squad status is reduced, they seem to get a little bit unhappy even in their loan. And I can understand why, it would affect you, but we've just managed to perk him up a little bit there. He's very happy again now, so hopefully that'll bode well today. Just a couple of players missing out from the squad at the moment. Not too many injury problems, it has to be said. There's none listed there, but I'm sure there's someone missing. Let me just go and have a look. I wouldn't normally have Aaron's on the bench. So I don't know what I've done wrong here. Bear with me. Let's have a look through. We've got our two defenders that are always there. John and McKinnon, Jackson and Lindsay. I know that James Williams can't be there because we've already got the 5 loanies. I've noticed now Peter McLaughlin's tired. He's back from international duty, not match fit. So he's the one missing out on the squad today. But otherwise, we're going really well. We're improving and we've got a settled 11. And that team today is Robinson in goal. Settled in brilliantly as our goalkeeper now. Saxon and Thomas the fullbacks. They both form good partnerships with their wingers. And then Walker and Parsons together at centre-half. Moles and Smith in the middle. Ever reliable. They've been here for years now. Holcroft, Tordoff and Everett the 3. And then John Webb on his own up front, continuing to score goals. So let's hope he can continue that trend today as well. But in we go though. I was tempted to bring Lindsay in on the left. Matt Everett not having the best spell at the moment. But we're going to stick with our first choice 11. And hopefully they'll get the job done against Ipswich. 4-2-3-1, the away side have matched us up. Astley at centre-half, we had him in the other series. Was it Scunthorpe we had him on loan at? I'm sure it was, we had him definitely somewhere. Nico Williams, a hero from FM19, another one of those Torquay stars. He was absolutely brilliant in that series. I think he played in about 4 divisions for us if I'm not wrong. But either way, they've got a lot of youngsters in that team, a lot of regens just like we have. So let's go and get into the first half. Tell the lads, what do they want to know? We're going to go with Nick Haycock. He says pick up where you left off. Who are we to argue? In we go to the first half. It's Dorking v Ipswich. It's live and hopefully we can get a result. Well, we're going straight from the kickoff. This is a little bit interesting. We don't often see the first highlight of the match here. It's Brockton McCarran on the left wing, taking on his man. Saxon's got to stand strong. Brilliant tackle from the right back. Wonderful work. We love seeing him get stuck in like that. Not a big fan of the Parsons back here on the edge of his box though. Get rid of the ball, will ya? Just clear it, someone. Eventually it's back to Robinson. Hopefully he will oblige. Try and get that ball long downfield. He's being pressed and he just plays it short. We're getting ourselves into trouble here. Parsons has given it away. We knew this was coming. Why did we be so lazy? 45 seconds. Awful from Grant Parsons. So lazy on the ball. We knew it was coming and we just didn't clear the ball. And unfortunately Ipswich lead with the first shot of the game. And this top of the table clash might not go as well. Well, 20 minutes gone. There's actually been no shot at all in this game since that first minute strike. And we are on the ball here out to the right. Tordoff back to Saxon. Can we get the ball forward this time? Parsons just gets rid of it. That's what he should have done in the first minute. Tordoff picks it up to Moles. Webb shoots from distance. It wasn't far wide. It looked a speculative effort and it never looked like going in. But the keeper was scrambling towards the end. So maybe it was closer than it looked. Free kick on the right for the away side. To the edge of the box. That's a great effort. Just wide from Bradley. But 5 to the break and this isn't looking good for us. Ipswich playing as well, getting on top in stages here as Nico Williams picks it up to Astley. 2 former players that we've managed, of course, both in alternate universes to this. It's back to Huffer in goal, plenty of time to play out, finds Allsop the centre half. Will they make the same mistake we did? They don't. Huffer just hoofs it long. Learn a lesson from that, lads. It's Bradley on the right. They're still coming forward. They look a much better threat inside, but it's a good challenge. Holcroft only falls for Nico Williams. No real less bite in the attack for us. And we're still defending for our lives here. We need to keep it 1 to the break. If they go 2-0 up, it'll probably be over. As McCarran picks it up, it's a dangerous position. Finds Langley in space. Overlapping is McCarran and Brock. 3 in the middle, 4 in there for Ipswich now. You've got to win the challenge. It's not strong enough. Bradley heads in. It's 2-0. Ogunseri with his second goal. Just nicks in ahead of the centre half. It's woeful defending. And after a brilliant run, 2 months unbeaten, we're throwing it away in the worst style possible. Ipswich, one of the biggest sides in the league, but there's nothing to legislate for that performance. We've got a lot of work to do at half time and I honestly don't see us getting back into this one. So we're going to say where's the passion, try and dig into them a bit. We're even going to go attacking as well, but I've no idea where the goals are coming from at present. Some of the lads looking anxious, frustrated. Well, why don't you try and get on the ball? Luke Thomas with a delivery into the box, Tordoff to Everett. There we go, back in business. A good set piece routine, 2-1 with 5 minutes gone in a second. Now we've got to get on the front foot, get back into this game. Let's see if we can go and nick a result. Is a corner kick. Matt Smith to take it. Into the back post. Holcroft heads just over. Had to do better with that. Didn't keep it down. He's looking anxious. He may be a man to come off. I know they're 3 of our best players, but do we want anxious players on the pitch? I'll give them 5 more, but at that point they're the 3 at the moment. Everett's lost out. A poor kick. Robinson. Seems to happen all the time in FM20. Those kicks out wide as they rattle the post. What's Saxon doing? You got 10 yards of space. He's just hammered it behind the goal. Really poor animation there. But either way, we're not looking looking good at the moment. All that composure's just drilled out of our game. Parsons heads the corner away, but it's back into square one. Feeney picks it up on the left wing. Good challenge by Holcroft, but he's barged into the back of him. Going to be a yellow card first. And with 25 to go, we're going to make changes as we're putting on an absolutely awful display. So there's 3 candidates to come off here, and 2 of them are the anxious and frustrated ones. So it's John Webb up front. He's going to be replaced by Lindsay. He's been a super sub in a couple of games. Holcroft in the number 10 role. It's going to be Connor Jackson. Tordoff's going to go in as the number 10. Jackson's going to go as the winger on support. Stefan Moles has had a rubbish game. He's going to be replaced by Niall Johns in central midfield. And they're the 3 that we make. All got 6.4 ratings. And hopefully these lads can be the super subs yet again. Huffer in goal for Ipswich with the ball, just taking his time there. You've got to blow the whistle, ref. 15 to go and they're still time wasting already. Parsons to Everett, can we get it clear? Thomas goes long, that's a good approach. Lindsay picks it up in the box, there's one up with him. Chance to cross, Tordoff's there, what a finish that is. Tordoff into the far corner. We're going to drop back to positive as we are on level terms. What a recovery that was. Lindsay again off the bench making such a difference. Tordoff in the number 10 role doing well. And we're 10 to go. It's 2-2 here at Crawley Stadium. And it looks like the unbeaten run could yet continue. Back with Luke Thomas at left back. A chance for us to come forward. We look on top at the moment, but you don't want to lose possession here. Here's Luke Thomas. Up towards John. Can he get there first? He does. Finds Everett. 2 running off him. Goes for the shot himself. Straight at Huffer. That was really greedy. He didn't need to do that. Not the best effort with 5 to go. But we are looking like we're going to get a result here. Good to see though with a minute to go as we're going to go into stoppage time now. 4 more minutes. The lads are competing well and a draw will certainly take that. At half time we thought this was game over. So we'll tell the lads we're pleased. They really fought hard to get back into it. And a 2-2 draw keeps the unbeaten run going. But it may well lose us top spot. It doesn't. Sunderland got the victory, everyone else struggling to pick up points, so we've actually increased our gap to the playoffs by a point as Bolton lost their game, albeit Rotherham 2 games in hand, Carlisle have got one themselves, but otherwise Ipswich stay 4 behind us and Sunderland join top now, and considering the start of the season how many big teams there are in the league, for us to be level with Sunderland, have Pompey, Ipswich, Bolton and Rotherham behind, I'm delighted with that. It also shows some of the differences in alternate universes. Bolton 7th in League 1 here, in our other series the head coach, they're actually in the National League around mid-table. We had Chris Wilder who was managing Pompey in the last episode. I believe he still is here in League 1. In the other series he's the manager of England. It just shows the same game, you can have such differences between the two. But let's go into the inbox, see what was said about the game. Honours evening, we probably didn't deserve it. In the second half we really did fight back into it, but the first half we were useless. So a decent result but a really disappointing performance. We are going to have to be better than that as we go along. John Webb the second top scorer in the league, although it wasn't his lucky day today, but at least you got to see all of the players perform now. So against Pompey some of the others were brilliant. Today Tordoff was the man, he saved the day. Lindsay off the bench was sensational too. Everything going well, everyone contributing. That's the one thing you can see out of this. Still a few errors, we've got young defenders and goalkeepers, these things are going to happen, but overall I'm delighted with how things are going and we're still playing good attractive football. So let's go and have a look at the schedule, have a look at when we might next be back. I think it'll probably be January sometime. I might even leave it till the end of the month, unless we obviously get through in the FA Cup and get a massive tie in the 3rd round. But otherwise, I'm looking down here sort of Charlton away, Coventry at home. I don't think any of those other sides are up there. Or Rotherham away, the first game of February. So any of those 3 there. Otherwise, it could be a big FA Cup tie, but I've got a feeling we might go out to Ipswich. But if you did enjoy this episode, a massive thank you for watching it as always. Please do put a thumbs up on the video. Great to see the lads fighting back despite a really poor first half there. And of course, we've got a massive FA Cup tie against the same opposition next up. That's going to be interesting. We'll go through that in December off camera. Hopefully still be up there with the likes of Sunderland and Pompey. And you can see in that run we've got to play Pompey over Christmas. 2 days after Southend. Might have to manage the squad a little bit there. But hopefully we'll get through that period unscathed. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the January transfer window. I don't want to spend too much money, but I've got no hesitation to improve 1 or 2 areas. So if there's an odd position you think we might be able to improve, just let me know and I'll go and have a look. I'm sure we could probably have a look at left back. That's one position I've got in mind. Possibly even a left wing as well actually. But otherwise I think we've got a really solid team. And unless we get a chance to sign some monstrous players, we probably won't do too much in January. We can't bring in any loans. We've already got 6 or 7. So unless some of those will stay on permanent, replacements, but a lot of those on big money contracts at their current clubs, so not really much risk of much changing, might just be one or two little bits of business in and out. As I mentioned at the start, if you haven't already, subscribe for daily FM20 content. We've got 2 long-term stories on the go, this one where we manage everything with Dorking, the head coach where we manage nothing off the pitch, no transfers, contracts, staffing or the like, and we've also got our odd little fantasy draft series, collaborations on the channel. Let me know down in the comments if you'd like to be involved. And then obviously there's a link to the matchday vlogs for the podcast as well, just a reminder of what real football was like a few weeks back. But otherwise, a massive thanks for watching and your continued support with the series, and I hope to see you next time for another big episode at the top of League One.